Preservation Committee. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our August 22nd meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from August 22nd, the Open Land Acquisition and Farmland Preservation Committee.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Our last meeting was postponed, so that's why the minutes are back to the 22nd. So this is the last meeting for this sitting committee, and I'd like to thank everybody for their diligent work on this committee and working towards land acquisition and preservation of farmland. With that being said, I believe we have time for public comment. I do not see anybody in the council chambers here for public comment, and I don't believe there's anybody online.
No.
Public comment, public comment, public comment. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to our agenda to staff, and tonight's meeting is primarily just getting an update on the Rocky Hill Community Farm and its potential barn structure.
Yeah, barn, maybe a quick update on the remedial site work and excavation. The contractor on site ran into an underground tank that Zuvik had missed in their sampling over the years, which is a common thing because they keep, you got to punch a hole in every now and then, and their samples went on each side. The tank is not an oil tank. They think it might even be some type of makeshift cesspool or septic tank of some form.
I can give you an update if you like.
Yeah, just the cost of removal is about $4,000. That will be covered by the grant. The bid came in below the grant amount, so we're pretty good there with that cost. So Steve will give you a little more detail as he usually does.
So regarding the tank, I was out there. It was maybe 3 feet in diameter. I couldn't see the depth. It's been removed. There were pipes entering and exiting, so we believe it was a septic. I don't have the results from the contractor, so that's the tank. They've been delayed roughly 5 weeks by the testing lab. So they did their preliminary tests, sent to the lab. I think it was like almost a 4-week gap before they got those results. They did their excavations. They sent them out to the lab. They just got the results. There's more. Let's see how she's phrased this. Additional excavations around the house and in each of the other small areas is required to attain compliance with remedial standards. So they'll be back out probably next week to start that. In the meantime, they have some silt fence they have to repair, and there's a couple stone foundations, as you will, that are in the area of the new barn. There's 3 different areas. So there's one that needs to be removed because it's in the area of the new barn pad and parking. So they're going to be there tomorrow and beyond, disassembling and stacking the stones. Kind of inside the last stone foundation for safekeeping.
The one we're saving.
Yes, the one we're saving.
So the foundation you're digging, the stone foundation you're digging up, we're saving,
Saving
reclamating
the
these
stones.
stones
Yes.
so that we can continue to use them on the site.
Correct.
Or rebuild that other wall.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then they need to get that, they want to get all the contaminated soil out, of course, as soon as possible. Season's coming in, right. We're getting near the end. So as I said, we just got the report that says there's additionals and we can move ahead. And then after that, it's going to be the grading, the pad, the parking area. So that's probably, their new calendar, which I just got today, has them going out basically till Thanksgiving, wrapping up.
Is this contaminated soil in the area where the barn will be?
It was around the house.
Up on top?
House is what she
So
says.
We can still work on that barn pad site while they're up on top?
Well, they're going to finish their excavations, all the contaminated stuff, get everything out of there, then come in and start the grading and all that, yes. But Thanksgiving is their end date, the day before. That's what they're showing on their latest schedule.
So can we have questions at this
Sure.
juncture?
Yeah, well, we'll do, yeah.
Yep. I look to Counselor Duff.
You just mentioned Thanksgiving being their end date. Does that complete all of the scope of work that we put out for? They're going to need to do a project change order?
Chances are no, because it's past planting season, so they, they're gonna seed, but they'll be back probably in the spring, because it's probably not gonna take at this time of year, won't germinate.
But in terms of the site work, preparing the
It should be,
pad,
yes. It's for everything, that's their goals, to have everything done per their schedule. As I said, some of these things are out of season, so they'll probably have to come back.
and the seeding might just be, or some sort of erosion control.
That gets left in place, as you know.
Counselor Malaro,
I have no questions.
no questions on that? Sandy?
Yeah, I do have a question, Steve. On this tank that they removed, and you're waiting for the results of the testing, when are you going to get those?
They just removed it, I think, on Friday, so I don't have it. And they're safe to, they're safe to dig and everything else with that tank. We're not concerned with that.
So-
What they're testing is, they're testing the soils for all the other contaminants.
Okay, so that fits within the Thanksgiving
Yes.
end date?
Yeah, we should be fine.
Fran Whalen?
No questions. Sounds
Ryan
good.
Clemens?
So just to clarify, the day before Thanksgiving end date, that includes the around-the-house work and the prepping the site pad for the barn, correct?
It includes everything
Okay.
on the contract.
All right, thank you.
And building on that question, just in my mind, when you say everything, I'm thinking of the road entranceway, doing some leveling and scraping, so the site looks like
Yep.
ready to start to take shape.
Correct.
So, in other words, bulldozers will be off the site after that.
That's the
And-
plan.
Okay.
Hopefully, everything goes according to plan, but yes. So,
And we still have artifacts from the house, I believe, in storage, correct, Ray? Myself and a resident from town went out and we
Right.
recovered items from the house that could be used to decorate the barn or the site, like big wooden
Plow
tillers.
kind of thing.
Plow
Yeah,
tillers and things.
were they put in the Parks and Rec?
I don't know where it went. I know there was one set of artifacts, early on artifacts with Walt at Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And then the truckload that I got out with Ed Chicarillo, the Chief Garahy from the fire department came and got those from my house. So I don't know where they are, but I just would like to know that you've earmarked them and you've got them for safekeeping, and we'd like to see those on the site.
I will check on that. I'll check on that.
Alrighty.
all right, so I guess, so you wanna, now we'll go on to the barn?
Is that good with everybody? Yep, we'll move on to the barn.
Some new information on the barn?
Wrong folder. So the barn, we have, we're kind of perplexed on how to bid this, because we need the plans. None of us are architects. So we did find through CROG that there's a company called the Gordian Group, and I'm trying to find the exact wording here, what it was called. One sec. Easy IQ, I think they call it.
You're basically.
Easy IQ, yeah. So what it is it's basically an on-call service for construction projects, and it's approved by the state, and it supposedly meets all the CHRO regulations. So what it is there's two different, there's a general contracting, and then there's a roads and bridges contracting. So we'd be looking at the general contracting. They break the state up into northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So in our region, which would be the looks like northwest, we're right on the line, would be Millennium Builders. So we met with them and gave them these sketches that I had downloaded off the website. I can't just say these are my drawings and bid on those. So we gave them to them, and they're supposed to work up a price. They got back to me and said, we can do this for you, $1.2 million. I'm like, whoa, no, we had $120,000, not 1.2. So I reached out to him again, and I heard back from the guy from Gordian, but not the guy from Millennium with the price. So we're waiting on that. In the meantime, I just kind of broke down the other ones. The Cloder Farm, we had one. The Barnyard, we had one. I found one online called Barn Pros. These are all kits. So, this does not include labor on any of these. And those average prices per square foot, well, actually, Cloder included the foundation. The others didn't. So the other two were $75 to $80 range, and that did not include foundation and labor. And Cloder was $143. That included the foundation, no labor. Just by coincidence, we got a application yesterday for a barn from a resident. And somebody that I didn't come across from my research called Online Barns out of, not Online, but somewhere out that way. And his website says, estimate $150 per square foot for a barn. Do it now, price is going up next year. So a 30 by 36 barn we've been looking at by those, and these are all post and beams except Cloder, which I think is stick built, is $162,000. So the Cloder came in at 142 without labor, so that kind of sounds similar. So now you got to scale, it's like a 24 by 24 barn. Maybe a little bigger.
Right, and we
What
wanted
we
the
have.
and we wanted the post and beam.
We wanted the post and beam,
So,
yes. So that's kind of where we're at. We're still waiting on Gordian. I sent him another email today asking for updates. Did not hear back from the Millennium Builder guy. So I do have the confidence now that if we need to, we can draw up plans ourselves from the different plans we've had. As I said, we had this one come in. So again, I'm not an architect. We don't have architects on staff, but we can do the drafting and draw it up and probably be pretty comfortable we have and to make sure we meet all the building codes and what he wants to see.
And if I can get permission from DECD to utilize the Gordian.
Whatever comes in.
Yeah, whatever comes in at the Gordian bid, to try to save some time, we'll do that because this barn grant was extended to March 24. I will check to see if we can get a second extension just in case. Does it have to be a barn, a post and beam structure, or can it look like a post and beam structure from the exterior and the interior can be stick-built? Post and beam is what drives the cost
so if
up.
you're asking, Counselor Duff, I think we like I think our priority, I don't want to speak for everybody, I think our priority was getting the biggest footprint, the square footage.
We did say that.
Then, if we could have post and beam, that would be the next preference, I think, but it certainly wanted to be, and so if we have to wait to add things like utilities or expansion, some opportunity for expansion, let that be a phase 2 or 3 or 4. So we primarily wanted to try to get in place the square footage and the shell that meet the best possible largest crowd.
We want the facade to look like a barn.
Yeah. So would we be willing to compromise on post and beam, I suppose, depending on the plans, but Counselor Duff?
Yeah, I think it depends on the, if it looks the same and it's a different universe of cost to do post and beam versus the stick built, and we think we've got the same result in terms of maintenance and duration that it will last for the town, then that would be something that the commission would probably look favorably upon. We want to make sure we don't lose the grant money. We want to make sure that we have a structure there that we can utilize. So I think that's something that makes, makes sense to, if there's other alternatives that let us do those things, at least pursue it.
Counselor Milaro?
Yeah, I've been thinking the same lines. Exactly. It's as they say in golf, we play the ball where it lies, right? And you have to make the best decision, feasible decision. The idea is to have a structure there and take advantage of what's been given to us as a grant.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yeah, I agree with Chris. If the functionality is the same inside, nobody's gonna go walk in and say, I thought this was gonna be post and beam. I mean, they're not even gonna, unless they're all tuned in now, but, and I don't know if there's any difference in longevity or structural soundness, that's way beyond my scope, between post and beam and stick-built. I'm sure it's comparable. I mean, this is not gonna be used to death. I think it's, how much can we get for our dollar? And we're under a time clock with this grant. So I would say, go stick-built, let's get the best we can, the biggest footprint. And if the outside looks good, I think that's what people want. They want to drive by and see a barn.
Yeah, and just to give you some ideas here, real quick, I tried to make an apples-to-apples comparison here of the different,
Steve, hold on one second. We'll just
Oh,
check
sorry.
with Fran Whalen.
I think a stick barn can be beautifully built without a problem, and it's gonna be gorgeous. I think
you don't
that's the
know
way
anything
to
about
go.
barns, do you?
No.
And Brian Clement.
I agree. I think the most important thing is the aesthetic look, when people drive by and see
Yeah.
it. While posted beam will be absolutely gorgeous when we have reality of our budget with the grant and everything else. So, I mean, as long as I think the outside looks like the barn, I think that will meet the goal that we've been talking about for, what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, even on some of these kits, like I have 3 different kits, and some are stick, some are timber frame, some don't come with the roofing, like the shingles and all that, so that's another extra. Others come with the cupola and like a lean-to side. So, it's just, one of them's T111, the other ones are pine or shiplap or, something of the sort. One was, I think, pine with batten boards. So, I mean, it's so hard to compare apples to apples. It's just, everybody's different, what they're gonna include, what the materials are, what the construction is gonna be, so,
Let me see that. You have a photo of the red clutter farm?
yeah, that's Texture 111. With, that one is
This
T111,
is the one that we originally looked at.
it's 24 by 40.
That we passed around that you liked because it had that extra lean-to.
Yeah.
So when the kids finally do get to use it,
Yeah.
they can do their farm stand in front, or somebody can do a farm stand.
All the ones I looked at have that lean-to with it.
That's the main concept we're
Yeah.
going for.
So the Barnyard and the Barn Pros, the kits, the price includes the lean-to, whereas that one, it's in the bottom line, but it was an extra. They build it out different. Because that's actually a garage plan that they have that they've modified into a barn.
What is this one?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
The barnyard, that's expensive.
This
Yes.
one's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it doesn't come with roofing. I just,
Yeah, that'd be absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I mean, we have some sense of what those requirements are. I mean, we need to have roofing and all those other things. I mean, I don't know how exactly we'll sort through the committee will sort through all those options, but I think we've got some sense of, we want a aesthetic look on the outside, durability, use on the inside. I mean, there's probably different options to get there
yeah.
within
And
the context of what our budget looks like. And we may have to, I don't know if we have to close a gap between what we have in the grant and what these are, because those prices are now many years old. So probably sooner is better than later.
Yeah, and then, as we were saying, there might be residents who have businesses who want to help out, and, maybe the foundation, which is a big one. That's probably 15,000.
20. That was a $20,000 foundation.
Was it 20,000 in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, yes, 20,
And
23.
we may be at a inflection point where this now goes to government ops, where they regularly look at building plans and expenses and contractors and bidding and all that. Is that correct or not correct?
I'd still like this committee to handle what it's going to look like.
Yep.
And then once we try to get that together, the windows, the doors, and then at that point, I think the idea is to go out to bid. We could go to government ops, but we don't want to delay, because when we get to that point, we're getting really close to that timeline. We don't want to delay if we don't have to. But at that point, we can check with government ops. But I want this committee to keep controlling this project, keep it here.
Okay.
What does that look like in terms of timetable? Because it's possible that none of the folks sitting now may be on the next version of this committee. And do they have a meeting scheduled in November?
Yeah.
They do have a meeting scheduled?
Government ops?
Oh,
No,
correct,
no,
yeah, they-
of this committee.
This
Oh,
committee.
this committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have you
That would
scheduled
be
out
the end of-
until
yeah.
the end of December.
Right, but there's going to be a new council and people need to get appointed to that committee.
Many times, commissions and the subcommittees go to January,
Hmm.
many times, right? Yeah. So I guess it's gonna be up to the council if- how quickly they wanna get new people on the subcommittees.
So we may be reconvening this group as
You
as
could.
it's constituted until we're replaced. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, whoever that is, there should be a meeting of this because, if we need to have three counselors on this committee, three of us aren't running. So there's a
Yeah.
there's a continuity issue there. And I'm not
point.
sure if Board of Ed members
Counselor, good
consider how
point.
that works. So that's something where we don't want to lose that if it takes us into,
Right.
December. So
Right.
however we need to figure that out, let's just make sure that if we need to read new people in, we can do that in a way that we make more progress.
I have a question through the chairman. Ray or Steve, how soon can you put on paper Cloder Farms, this price, cupola, shingles, foundation, XYZ builder, this price, no shingles, no foundation, this, I mean, when can we get a
I
real?
kind of have.
Can we have a spreadsheet to look
I
at?
kind of have them, but again, it's, I want to go through it again to make sure I got everything, because they don't have, some of them have some specs, but not enough
I
to
understand.
know, so I'm like, okay, does it include, like some people, yeah, you get one window, the other ones are extra. Where other folks, okay, all the windows are included. So down to that, but,
I understand, this is a complicated
yeah.
thing,
I mean,
but when can we really get some facts? So I don't know, it's
I
up
think
to
we
us
want
to
to narrow
take.
down to maybe 3.
Right, it's up to us to look at these statistics and say, vote on them?
And at the end of the week, I can have that.
And what I wouldn't recommend is doing a prices based on, okay, this one has shingles, this one doesn't. No, you just, a full package.
Okay.
Here are the
Yeah,
three
that's
full
what I'm trying to get, is a
Okay,
full
so
package, and maybe
Then you have to contract out like
take-
for shingles, you're saying?
packages. No. we
What
don't
I
wanna
wanna do
Will
is-
be extras,
No,
and
it's all inclusive. We
Yeah.
want to get everything
Oh.
included in
Yeah.
the
I
price.
thought
And-
some didn't,
well, Barnyard doesn't
Some
include the
don't,
roof
we're not
shingles.
using Barnyard.
oh, okay,
Those
all right,
that do not,
So-
then we,
they're out.
And then take the foundation out so you can see a better per square foot price. It's funny because I have from this place called Barn Pros, I'm not exactly sure where they're from, and they have two different ones I looked at. One was a 36 by 36, one was a 24 by 36. Very, very similar, and one, the square foot, price per square foot was much higher than the other. So it's like, well, why? You'd think if you have a general dollar per square foot, they're gonna be similar.
we can sort that out
Yeah.
and bring a couple of
Yeah.
to you hopefully before.
Like, I mean, I can give this, we can make copies, give it to you now, but it's, again, it's kind of
That's not
No, we
complete.
don't.
down to like, what's the pitch on the roof?
I'm
Does
just
it have an
wondering-
overhang or doesn't it have an overhang
Yeah, we'll deal with that.
on the edges,
Yeah, to the extent you could get us 3, narrow it down to
Yep.
3, and we could call a special meeting.
I'm just feeling that
I think
March
we might
pressure.
all come back,
Absolutely.
special
Yeah.
meeting, just to kind of give you direction on
yeah, we
picking
can do
one.
that, yeah. It'd be nice if you could just say, I like that kit and buy it, but it's beyond our threshold.
Right.
How do we close that? I mean, we have a certain amount of money under the grant, and we want to get the biggest footprint we can and the most bang for our buck. We can't put up a building that doesn't have shingles on it to save money, so what is that, where does that leave us? We come up with specs that we go out to bid, or do we have to close the gap with contingency? Because at a certain point, if we don't have the ability to build 30 by 30, we have to look at something smaller or push the project off. So, I mean, I think it'd be great to say that we like the pitch of one roof or something having a cupola or not, but if those are kind of like bells and whistles, like what are we actually just deciding on?
Well, you want the second floor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we gotta watch the roof pitch.
The barn needs a nice steep roof pitch, otherwise it's gonna look like a garage,
Yeah.
We have a $128,000 grant, and then I put in 12 grand for some type of electrical wiring, but we can use that for construction.
Could get you a good part of a foundation.
So we're looking at within the universe of what we can afford under that bucket of between 128 and 140, what are our options, all inclusive? What does that look like?
Any other questions of staff?
Related to this site, or just in general with the site, it sounds like around Thanksgiving, if all goes according to plan, we're going to have a site that looks much cleaner and flatter and more welcoming to people. Do we have a plan that we're going to make available as far as when the public can or cannot access the site? Because if we're still considering this an active construction site, but it looks nice and clean and flat, people are coming to check it out. So we should come up with a plan for how do we do that or not.
It's not fenced, is it?
No, it's not fenced.
I think you're still driving off the side of New
Yeah,
Road too.
It's kind of,
We don't,
it's not even a gate.
we haven't been able to, I think, address fencing or gates in this, so far in this committee. I mean, that's a big expense to fence in the entire property and put in some control gates of some sort.
I was thinking of the construction fencing at least. Are
That'd
they
just be
required?
around, that'd just be around the
Yeah,
the
at
work
least if you
area.
have it around the perimeter or part around the construction area, like that orange, I mean, it looks like, it's a construction site
A
at
controlled
least.
site.
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably want that, I'm thinking you're gonna have all those stones stacked loose.
yeah,
We're gonna wanna close that off somehow.
yeah. Look at, hopefully we can get some security, look, was it included in the bid, maybe it might, was that construction fencing? If it is, we'll, have them.
Let's
put
see, that was not the barn, that's this one here. Let's see. I don't believe so. But I will tell
I
you.
would think at minimum you could drop some of those orange and yellow striped like barrels with a sign on them. Just notice that, no trespassing town property, construction, something like that.
Danger,
Danger.
construction
Yeah.
zone,
Something that would,
good word.
No hunting?
no hunting.
I find nuclear waste dump works well.
Until you're sitting at my desk. and
Yeah.
Phone calls.
No fencing,
No
no
fencing.
fencing, no. It was more about getting the contamination out,
Site work, excavation.
site work,
work.
yeah. So,
All right.
I mean,
Okay, so far, you're gonna get us, maybe 3 choices to pick from, so we'll all expect a package
yeah,
on the barn itself that we might be able to pick and direct the town. And then we will try to have a special meeting to maybe discuss that package on the buildings. And then you are gonna work on fencing, protective fencing to keep people off. And all of this is going to take place with Thanksgiving being our
Yep.
end date.
That's the plan.
so you'll want this meeting before the 7th, I would think, November 7th. So it doesn't have to be on a Tuesday night,
No, we just have to find a slot that's available.
because next week, Tuesday night was Halloween.
Do you want to see what progress you make, try to get it by the end of the week? I mean, we could even do a Zoom one if we have to, I don't know.
Be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we, if we were to go on the weekend, like this, a Saturday or Sunday, we could have a special meeting on site where we could have our one last walk of the site? Or we could,
Gotta be
do it
either
here.
this Saturday or next Saturday.
No, that's not gonna work.
Well, you gotta be careful our Saturdays, it's rained 70% of the time, it's
Yeah.
June on a Saturday,
so
so.
maybe we'll just, I mean,
I mean, if you have a special.
I'm just thinking if we can't fit it into
Oh,
council
absolutely.
chambers.
Special meeting is open to the public. We don't want people
Drapes in.
walking with us to the site. It's a construction site.
Yep. Okay, so we have to find a time to come reconvene here.
Zoom to be okay? Ed?
Zoom would be good, right?
Yep.
That way we would get it in, yep.
Yeah. It's the end of the week, so you got the 30,
Daniel will find that out
first
for us.
2, 1, 2, and
Right,
6.
Daniel?
That's correct.
You got like a choice of 4 nights, it looks like.
Sounds like a plan.
Not Halloween.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Halloween, then it's election night for the next 2 weeks.
We probably just need like 15 minutes for
Yeah.
this thing, right? I mean, if we're able to get the specs ahead of time, you know, they're probably all going to be reasonable. We'll see, you know, what people's feelings are. Not that I
So-
want to do it on Halloween, but like we
So
could squeeze
I-
it in during the day if we had to.
I would suggest hard copy out to the because we're gonna be on Zoom, so we'll be able to have hard copy
Yeah,
with us and not trying to
Absolutely.
screen, which we, you know, we'll be at home, so some of us have more capability there than others. So if we get a hard packet of the building structures, then we can reconvene in Zoom and give you direction. That sounds good, if that works with everybody.
Works for me.
All right.
All right. Any old business, new business
No.
that you want to bring up?
No.
Okay. Anybody have anything?
I just want to thank Ed for his service to this committee.
Thank you, Ray.
Been great working with you.
Oh, I was going to just go down the list and say thank you, Sandy Kelly, very much. Chris, thank you very much. Chris is also not coming back on council, and we kind of came up together on wetlands, then to council, and also farmland together, so it's been a good ride. Appreciate your collegiality. John Malero is also not running for reelection, and John, we appreciate your service to the, committee. You're a very introspective person. He's feeling a lot of logic, and he's quiet, but he gets his points across, and we appreciate everything that you've done for the committee. Fran, thank you very much. Brian Clemens, thank you very much as well for bringing the time in on the committee, and look forward to seeing you all at the Zoom. So with that, if we have a motion to
Yeah,
adjourn?
so I'll just
Yeah,
take
go
a
ahead.
take a moment. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to thank John. We had kind of a strange ending to the last council meeting,
yes.
and we all said nice things about me and Ed. But John, you kind of fly under the radar anyways. But I wanted to make sure you at least got your kudos and recognized for your contributions to the council. So thank you for your service to the town. Yeah, just kind of like coming full circle. Actually, many years ago, Sandy Kelly actually was the one who called me up and asked me, "Oh, you might be interested in serving on the Wetlands Committee," and that started things down a long road that turned out to be longer than I thought. But it was really a privilege serving on council as a member of this committee and finance and others. And I'd like to thank the people of Rocky Hill. I had a list of folks from like town staff that I wanted to thank, but it was really long. I didn't want to make it feel left out. So, if I did work with you on something, I enjoyed it, and thank you for your contributions. I wanted to thank also, our mayors and that I've served with, as well as fellow councilors, and particularly on this committee, I want to thank Joe Kohanek and remember his family, which has had some challenging events over the last few years. And I don't think we would be here talking about the Rocky Hill Community Farm without Joe's efforts in breaking through a very long stalemate with the past owner, and always in our thoughts when we think about the barn and all of the progress that we're seeing there. And I also like to thank the members of the public who have participated. We've agreed or disagreed or not, but their contributions have been helpful in improving a lot of the projects we've worked on. Even if we don't take all of their suggestions, I think it shows the types of things that we take into account, and it's that we were able to think about these different things. We're making decisions that we're not certainly doing anything without thinking everything through, and their participation is vital in our process. There's something I didn't come up with the phrase, but I really like it, and that's if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and we really appreciate their participation, and they need to stay engaged to help improve the things that our town are working on, because the 9 folks in the council, the different people in these committees, can really only see through so much from our own vantage points. And for people who might serve on this committee, I would just say, take care of the land, and the land will take care of you. I think there's a lot that we have done as a town and community to protect our farmland and our open space, and there's probably more. We saw this year the benefit of that foresight that we had, preserving the Rocky Hill Community Farm to give us dry land. The meadows is becoming a lot more chaotic. We probably have to look at within what the town has in terms of open space, what we can convert more to active agriculture, whether that means doing some work to engage with potential farmers to do longer-term leases, so they have to put a little work to get that guaranteed payoff, or other things that we might want to take into account, because these things like the river flooding, other events are only become more frequent, not less. And with that, other people who might want to run for office, it's certainly something that people should get out and try to do. Meet your neighbors. It's a lot more pleasant than you'd think. Then it certainly seems to be on Facebook and other places. We have a great town, and just remember where you came from, because the people will always remember. And you do right by them, and they'll send you back. So, and it's been an honor serving with everybody, and who knows where it goes from here. But thanks for all your work. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Well put, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.